It's time to bring in Shaun King here. Shaun had asked to come on today. We obliged because Jameis threw for 500, and no one knows the quarterback position better than our guy, Shaun King. Before we get to Shaun, a quick reminder that you can tackle all of your NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if that first $5 bet wins. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to join today. Never waste a hunch. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. And with that, let's welcome in Shaun King to the show. Shaun, 500 for Jameis yesterday.
Stop saying 500. He had 497. Let's be accurate about it.
That's 500.
By the way, we talked about everybody, dancing when you make a good opinion. Well, Shaun was Mr. Jameis Winston, the biggest supporter. So, Shaun, unlike the Browns defensive backs who celebrate after every play, even though they stink, you really have a legitimate argument to do some sort of touchdown celebration from your predictions of Jameis Winston there, Shaun.
Well, let me just say this. I'm happy now that Browns Nation and everybody sitting on this panel that didn't believe, not going to call anybody's name, now sees the talent that I was talking about when I said Jameis is a top half of the league starting quarterback. Did you see him beautifully throw that football on Monday night last night? Wasn't it a thing of beauty to watch and behold? I'm just asking a question.
It only cost him the game with the picks. It was great.
Shaun, now everybody, McNuggets said this.
Great,
McNuggets said this. He said, when I want Shaun on here, I want him to explain to us what happened on them interceptions. That's what McNuggets said on the post game.
No passes for Jameis on that, Shaun.
So let's be honest. And I haven't gotten a chance to break it down, but me and Mikey will break it down. On the Bonito interception, Bonito's actually covering Jerome Ford. And he comes off of Jerome Ford and makes a great play.
It was such an instinctual play, dude. It was not. He got lucky, but it was instincts that put him there. You're right. He was not on that guy.
Yeah. So I mean, that just is a great play by a guy to get paid every week by the Broncos. But the thing that I want to focus on is, when we were talking to Deshaun Watson, I talked about Deshaun needing to have bulletproof emotions, right? How about the response Jameis had to that pick six? Minute and a half left in the half to get those guys together, go 7 for 11 with 70 yards and a touchdown. That's why I think the kid is box office, because he's one of the few guys that does have bulletproof emotions, able to get back up and come back out. And watch, Jerry Jeudy went off because he finally got to play with an elite quarterback. I mean, did you see the guys Denver had a quarterback while Jeudy was there?
Not good.
So now then he goes to Cleveland. Deshaun is tripping. Now he's got Jameis, and all of a sudden he looks like what everybody thought he was coming out of college.
Hey, listen.
Deshaun was tripping.
I felt like I was at the barbershop.
Deshaun was tripping.
There's no doubt. It feels like Deshaun has made Jerry Jeudy's career. Not Deshaun. Jameis has made Jerry Jeudy's career. Elijah Moore looks like a legitimate wide receiver. Cedric Tillman, before he got his concussion, was looking better. I can't give him credit for Njoku because Njoku was already playing well. But as well, it is a weird game to analyze because he played great, but that second pick six, that essentially that was a terrible throw. He threw it behind Moore. That was a really bad throw.
Did you say you think he ran the wrong route?
I'm not sure. I got to go rewatch it. But here's the deal.
Yeah.
The reason Jameis can throw for 497 and 4 is because he's aggressive.
Yes.
Like, this doesn't even – you guys are talking about this not being Stefanski's system. Like, Jameis is a guy that's trying to win the game. He's not trying to get to the end of the game and, have 80% completion percentage and throw for 150 yards. He's trying to win. And to the receiving core, Njoku's really good at making contested catches. He's a terrible route runner right now. Elijah Moore is average to me for a slot receiver. There was a crossing route he ran, and he didn't get vertical. He didn't explode. It was actually broken up on a third down play, if you can remember the play.
Yeah, I remember that.
So he's making guys, in my opinion, outside of Jeudy, who I think is talented, that aren't necessarily super talented. He's making them productive. Like that first incompletion on third down to Njoku, I mean, is Njoku ever going to explode out of the break? I mean, is he going to increase his speed at some point? Or is he out there just, loping around like a horse warming up to go race? Like, so damn. I want people to really understand how good Jameis is playing.
But Shaun, you got wait a second.
He said he was galloping around.
I can't ask the question. You can't give him a pass on that second interception. That was a terrible throw. He threw it behind.
No. I'm not giving him a pass.
Yeah.
If you watch Sundays, all the great ones throw picks. It happens. It's how you respond to it.
Let me ask you about what if they, because right now they got Jameis throwing the ball 50+ times a game.
No run game whatsoever.
So do you think if he had a decent run game, would you say that Jameis would be a top 10 quarterback in this league?
Absolutely, and I think it'll make the Browns' defense better. Like, he's doing this with no semblance of the Nick Chubb we recognize or know. I mean, he's doing this they cannot run the ball at all with any of those guys. So that's a lot of pressure on the quarterback to know the only way to win is we got to throw it across the field. And sometimes you get 3 and outs, you get short drives. The defense is very inconsistent right now. They'll have a stretch where they play like the best defense in the league, then all of a sudden they can't cover anybody for 2 series. So, I mean, it's not like they scored, 32 last night, right? That normally should be enough to win. Now, granted, he gave up 7.
14.
But that was a great play by
He gave up 14.
14. But, hey, man, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I'm saying this. If the Browns organization decides to do the right thing, which in my opinion is I would go to Jameis right now, because I think it's going to be more expensive this offseason because this is not a deep quarterback class in this draft. So teams aren't going to be able to fill the starting quarterback position through the draft, so they're going to need to be active in free agency. I would sign Jameis to a 2 or 3 year deal, averaging about $30 million a year. I just eat Deshaun. I just tell Deshaun to go home. Listen, man, just go home, get healthy, enjoy yourself. We'll eat whatever we got to eat. And I get better around Jameis, and I think they'd have a really good chance to make some noise next year.
So with that if you're extending Jameis for 2 to 3 years, what are you doing with the first round pick? Are you going left tackle or are you going wide receiver?
So I'm glad you asked that because I've never really gotten to give my philosophy when it comes to the draft. To me, the draft is where you acquire elite talent, regardless of need. You fill your needs in free agency. In the draft, when it's your time to select, I'd rank the guys top to bottom, and every year I'd take the best available player outside of it being a quarterback if I got a $60 million quarterback. Other than that, I just take best available player. You don't want to bypass a Justin Jefferson to go and fill a need at tackle. Like when there's special guys available in the draft, you have to take them. You can never have too many good players. Am I making sense? And then in free agency, you fill need.
Of course.
You go and get a veteran tackle that has film in the NFL, and you sign him in free agency. If you need a defensive end, you go and find a veteran defensive end, and you sign him in free agency. You don't, in my opinion, you don't fill needs on draft day unless it's a perfect organic fit.
Agreed.
Shaun, as we watch these final games for the Browns this season, is that, like last night, sort of what we should hope for the outcome to be? Like, it'll be a fun game, but we hope we're in and it's watchable, we don't embarrass ourselves, and yet they still, at the end of the day, it's better for the Browns to have lost that game than to have won it, and yet maybe be feeling better about ourselves today and talking about some other performances. But we've seen a couple things that have been enlightening. Jerry Jeudy can be a player. Jameis Winston can be a player. Certain things, like we know that Stefanski and Dorsey can actually call plays that work, right? Especially without a run game. So I think we're learning things about the team while also not hurting the future chances. And I'm not saying we want to go into games and lose, but I think you know what I'm saying, right?
Right. The difference between going 7-10 as opposed to 5-12 is probably 4 or 5 spots in the draft. I get 100% what you're saying. I think if I'm Stefanski, here's what I want. I want us just to keep getting better, regardless of the outcomes.
Yeah.
Like, I really want to have a conversation about the guys and what we're not doing to effectively run the ball. I would really focus on that. Like, we got to get better, guys. Our pad level's too high. we're not explosive enough, we're not strong enough at the point of attack, I'd have a conversation with Nick Chubb. Do you want us to shut you down? Because right now, the first defender you encounter, you're on the ground. Like, go have a conversation with Nick. Like, I know you've done a lot of great things for the organization. You're a great person. But right now, you're not that good. Is it because you're not healthy? Is it because you're not confident? Like, we need to put some real Nick Chubb on film before the end of the season. Because it's not out of the conversation that we might need to go get a running back based on what I'm seeing every Sunday. Is that fair?
Yeah. I think it's all fair.
I think to me,
right. Next year's not a life. Next year's roster is not about a lifetime achievement award. It's about us getting the best 53 guys we can have. And Chubb, you need to show us that you're still one of the best 53 guys. Right now, he's not very good.
No, I think he needs more time. Obviously, I mean, it's been 7 games, but I think it's just, our expectations of what he was versus what he is now. I mean, he's a shell of himself. He's not right, and I'm not going to judge him until he's another year out from the surgery. To say, like, is he shot? Right now he's shot. Is he shot next year? No, I think he's got a chance, but it's going to take some time, I think. So.
And I guess right before G. Bush, before you said it, I guess what I was saying, because I want to be clear, I'm not anti-Nick Chubb, but I'm saying if I was Stefanski, the conversation I would have with Nick, are you healthy? If you don't feel like you're healthy, then we can shut you down. I don't want to use you up. But if you're healthy, Nick, then I need to see something. I need to at least see a flash of what I know Nick Chubb used to look like.
But, Shaun, to be fair, a lot of these running backs coming back off this injury, it takes them a lot of times 2 years till they look like themselves again. Now, maybe Nick's too old and that's never going to happen. I guess we don't know. But you know that. Like, these knee injuries, outside of Adrian Peterson, nobody's ever come back that first year and really looked good again.
Yeah, but I think the point Shaun's making, not to cut you guys off, but the player would know. Like, when you're close to being 100%. And if Nick Chubb feels like he's there now, then Stefanski has no choice but to then just continue to play him. But if he's like, it's going to take some time. Like, first off, it's probably going to be tough to get those words out of Nick Chubb to actually be honest about his body and things like that, because he's not wired that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's obvious he doesn't.
But it's not smart to play him if he's not 100%.
True, but he's a free agent and he's got incentives in his deal.
Again, all those are fair. But to Shaun's point, like, if I'm Stefanski,
I get you.
You're in a tough spot.
It is a tough spot.
And Chubb's probably going to say he's fine.
Yeah.
These is makeup reps. These little reps is just to get his feet wet. Like, we'll catch you next year, Nick, and see what you got. This is a scary thing for me. I don't want them to go into this offseason and be like, all right, let's go ahead and let's just, see what we got. We're going to evaluate and not go all in and restocking these cupboards. These cupboards to me is kind of dry, man. You ever have one of them snow days, you don't want to get out of bed and go nowhere, you ain't trying to order no Grubhub. You say, let me go see what's in the refrigerator. And all you got is ketchup and mayonnaise and some old cold cuts and stuff that's just in there that ain't no good, nothing to make a meal with. I'm starting to see a lot of stuff in the cupboards like, man, we might need a running back. We might need a tackle. We definitely need a receiver.
They got no cap space.
I need another defensive end. So
they're not going to be able to fill. We got to be realistic. They can't fill all these holes because only the Saints are in worst cap spot for next year right now. They're over $30 million over the cap.
Yeah, the Saints have been over the cap for the last decade, and some kind of sorcery happens during free agency, and they figure out a way to add players. Here's the point I want to make sure that I emphasize. They need to be very, very clear about what they're doing at quarterback moving forward. And I think the time is in the next couple of weeks. They cannot operate within the building thinking that we can bring Jameis and Deshaun Watson back.
Yeah, talk about that.
They can't operate like that. If they don't see anything else, I hope they see what impact Jameis has for everybody else in the locker room. Like, they're playing with enthusiasm unknown to mankind, even when they're making mistakes. Like, if you look at the sideline, when they're playing the sideline, they're communicating, they're talking. Okay, how do we fix this? Okay, don't worry about it. We'll get it next time. Like, there's an energy that's in that organization right now that we just didn't see earlier. And because Jameis is such a respectful person, I don't think him and Deshaun can operate next year and have a balance. Okay, it's Deshaun team, but I'm here. Like, if I'm the Browns, I just cut bait with Deshaun and just admit that, okay, we had good intentions, it didn't work out. And get his team to Jameis and then start building around him. I'd start immediately.
I think Sean's right about that. They may have to technically keep Watson on the roster because it's too big.
You could just tell him go home. We just gonna pay you.
Exactly. But you can't. They can't have Watson
Johnson
back next year.
No.
He said we did it to Keyshawn Johnson.
On the roster.
Dang, that is true. That is wild.
They did Keyshawn like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. They send him home, man. They say go back to California.
That's what they got to do. What other choice do they have?
Especially at quarterback, though. As charismatic as Jameis Winston is, in the way he talks, in the way he controls the room in a huddle. After the drives, he's coming off. He's patting. Everybody's giving him. Listen, there's things that happen in that game, like Dustin Hopkins missing a field goal. I don't even remember he missed a field goal because Jameis Winston just makes you forget about it. You're like, oh, he missed a field goal. That was terrible. Let's see if we can go down and score.
I remembered it when we were up 31-30.
Yeah, you're right. At that point in time, it kind of hurt a little bit.
A perfect example of the brilliance of Jameis. On the first Browns series of the game, they've got third down. Njoku's in the slot. I talked about how bad of a corner route he ran. It looked like an overthrow, but if you're watching, Njoku doesn't give you anything. Jameis is ticked off, but he's so mature. He goes to the sideline and he tells Njoku, listen, my bad, don't worry about it. If you go back and look at the sequence in the very first play of the next series, Njoku's attached to a tackle. He runs another corner route. Jameis throws in the ball. That's when he made that one-handed catch of the balls in front of him. Those are the things that Jameis brings to the table that people don't see. Like, I've got a guy, okay, he didn't really run a great route, got us off the field, but let me go right back to him, pump it back up. I'm going to go right to him and get his confidence going.
Sean, is Jameis your godson or something? Because you've said more nice things about Jameis Winston in the last 16 minutes than I've said about my son in his life.
Well, Dustin, you got to improve as a father. I
know you're Dom DeMarco.
But here's why I'm so adamant about supporting Jameis. First of all, because he's earned it. If he wasn't playing well, if I didn't think he was box office, I wouldn't be on here advocating for them to extend him. But he's one of those guys that people don't take the time to really research what he's been as a quarterback. Because the first thing a person tell you, oh, yeah, he stole those crab legs out of the grocery store. You know, okay, he was licking his fingers. Like, he's got some moments outside of football that people remember. Like, for just certain athletes, you know, it's like, right, like, no matter what Ron Artest ever did in his life, people will tell what he ran in the stands and laid down on the press box table, you know, in Detroit. So I try and go out of my way to when guys are changing the narrative on their careers, to publicly support them when they deserve it, and I think he deserves this.
Hey, I think if nothing else, Jameis is going to be a star. Whether I assume it'll be with the Browns at this point, it seems most likely, but at least for next year, Jameis is going to be a starter in the league. There's no doubt he has earned that, no doubt.
Hey, don't be the Giants, okay? They've got a video of the GM. I think it's Shaun is his name.
Joe Schoen, yeah.
Joe Schoen. He's sitting with the owner of the Giants.
Yep.
And the owner of the Giants says, I'm not going to be able to sleep at night if Saquon ends up on the Eagles.
Yeah, well, nah, he's not sleeping. Sean, good stuff, buddy. We'll talk to you.
All right, great stuff. And
all right, we'll talk to you next week.
Don't wake up next year and Jameis is with the Raiders or somewhere throwing for 5,640 touchdowns.
There you go.
And y'all are still out there messing around. All right, love you guys. Happy holidays.
Good job.